Hi guys. I would say that personally, I felt the biggest connection with Julie. Um, she in the beginning, she when I connected a lot with her, like when she talked about what her top 10 fears were, um, and a lot of them were like things that were seemed pretty normal, and um, like things that you like that most people would like have normal fears in. And then she talks about like when she talk like at the end when like right before she's done with like writing her like um thing for Von Linden is where she talks about like how some of them how they like changed and how some of them started to be so like vain and unimportant or things that normally wouldn't have an effect on somebody. Like the fact that she was afraid of like breaking her nails and stuff like that. Um, but and so she's like, she got to the end, and she's like, or like getting old, and she was like, why was I so afraid of that? Like, that's something that I want to happen because she just wants to keep going and like, um, it means you're living, it means you've gone to experience life and yeah. So like I connected a lot with her, and I realized that like I have a lot of these fears that are that like her are very kind of like super, they seem superficial, and then when you like think about it, it's like why am I afraid of that? Why am I afraid of something so minor and so like something that does not affect my life at all? It's just something that I'm afraid of. Like a lot of times I'm afraid of like what people think, and you shouldn't be afraid of that. I don't think you should be afraid of what other people think. I think you should do what you want to do, um, or like not be afraid to go beyond what people expect of you, because it's very important to it's very important to like developing who you are as a person, not conforming to like the popular thing. And I don't think Julie conformed at all. She was very much her own person, um and like was not afraid of being her own person. Um, I would say what surprised me about this character when, like I said in like my reading response, I like didn't realize that when she was writing the book that Queenie was actually herself. Um, so when Von Linden like caught that when he was reading it, it was like, oh my goodness, like I never would have figured that out, that it was that when she talked about Queenie, she was actually just like describing herself. Um, and it was like a cool perspective to watch it in. Um, I say, why did I invest in this character emotionally? Well, okay, so like, I loved reading her story, and it was almost like a mini novel in itself. Like it was like it's like a novel section. But when um, so like when I related to her emotionally, I was I was amazed at how brave she was, how like because they talked to Maddie when Maddie goes through and goes through and she was like shocked that somebody said she was a collaborator, and Maddie was like she would never do something like that. And then she realized that when she went back and read through it, Queenie gave nothing away. Like everything that she gave was false or fake, and yeah, that's something pretty brave to be able to do so like casually, just to lie to the enemy about like stuff like codes and code names and all that kind of stuff. Um, and I just thought she was so brave, and um, and I thought that like her perspective of life changed a whole lot because, like I said, her fears changed, so that like it like also affected her value of life. So, but I think also at the end that she wasn't afraid to die. Like she like called out to Maddie and Maddie wanted Maddie to kill her, not the Germans. Um, she wanted it to be. She was like, okay, it's time for me. It's time for me to go, but I want you to be able to want to do that. Of course, she didn't say it like that, but that is kind of how I interpreted it.